in baseball, as you know, you were a monster baseball player back in the day.
I appreciate that.
No, of course. And baseball players, everybody knows that if you're a baseball player and you hit a home run or at least hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you get paid millions of dollars in the Major League Baseball. So what I love, that's another thing, perspective is everything, right? It's not about hitting a home run every time. It's about getting sharper, keep taking the opportunities, keep going up to bat, right? Give yourself the opportunity to succeed and know that it's possible that I'll fail and it's possible that I'll succeed. But as long as I keep trying, I'll get better. And eventually the opportunities will turn in my favor.
Don Dinero has a good analogy that he says, he always tells me, because I'm somebody that, like everybody else, we've all had a lot of ups and downs in the past year, a lot of good and bad moments. And he always tells me that whenever you're up, he goes, you have to remember that you're going to be down again, you know? And whenever you're down, you need to remember that at some point you're going to be up again. So I try to always remind myself, you know, whenever I feel like I'm being hard on myself or I'm being, you know, going through a difficult time, I try to always remind myself that no matter what, it's always gonna get back to where it was, where you were happy, where you felt like things were rolling for you. And that mentality, that way of looking at things has always benefited me. Everybody has their moments where they break and they pop and they lose it. But it takes a real man to acknowledge, hey, I fucked up. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's go. And that's why, like I said, I keep giving kudos to them because I really don't know what I would do without them. I wouldn't be able to do this without them. So it takes a special kind of person to deal with me. But we have some special people over there. But I love you guys.
Definitely. Oh, man. It's almost surreal, right? It's almost like this moment isn't happening, you know?
I was waiting so long to finally start rolling all this stuff out that now that it is happening, yeah, it is a little hard to believe. It's a little bittersweet because the creative process was fun and I was able to grow a lot in that process artistically and as a person, you know. I was able to learn a lot about not just the people around me but myself in the process, and I'm super happy and proud of myself and proud of the people around me and proud of you. And I know that this is just the beginning.
For sure, man. What's well, I forgot what movie he's like. We haven't even gotten started.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
For sure,
about.
man. So you have a really interesting story, and it's part of my philosophy. I always tell people, ask the question because you have nothing to lose. You always ask the question. Like whenever something's on your mind, you want to take an opportunity, ask people the question. Go out there, put yourself out there. What's going to happen? People say no. Whatever, nothing changed. You're fine. You're living life. Everything's exactly the same. But what if they say yes? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
100%.
So transitioning into that, say the story about how you actually started collaborating with Don Dinero.
I sent him a message on Instagram, and I came across his profile originally. And if you're from Miami, specifically from Hialeah, he's a name that you've definitely heard.
For sure.
Especially within the Cuban culture. And when I came across his Instagram, I saw that he was putting out music like nonstop. The guy was grinding, dropping a video like every month, doing interviews, podcasts, traveling, doing seminars for Adventures Music, and just really pushing his brand himself and his clothing brand, you know. And I saw how hard he was grinding, and I was at a stage in my life where it was like a transitional process. I was kind of letting go of the full-blown English music that I was doing and kind of dibbling and dabbling into the mixing of the English and the Spanish. And in that process, when I sent him the message, I basically told him in the message, like, I'm a super fan of what you did, and I hope you know that you left your fingerprint on the Cuban culture and the Miami culture, and it's something that I aspire to work in that realm of things that he did back in the day, you know, and that he was still doing today. And when I sent him the message, I would say maybe about an hour and a half went by, and he sent me a message right back. And I was at work, and I remember that I got the message, and I was like, what the fuck? And I opened it, and then he was like, oh, you do music? And I was like, yeah. And then I guess he went to my profile and he started looking at my profile. And then he was like, I'm going to be in Miami Super Bowl weekend. And then he's like, so we can link and chop it up. And I was like, all right. So as soon as he gave me basically that message, I'm one of those people that I feel like if you're not prepared, then you're prepared to lose. So I like to be ready for whenever I have a situation, whenever I have an interview, whenever I have a performance, whenever I have anything that I have to do. And I sat down. I remember at the time, my wife Stephanie was working and she had left. But before she left, I made a song with my engineer Colette called Donde Quiera, and we had made the beat. And the moment I heard the beat, I was like, man, this would be perfect for him because this is what he used to do, you know. And sure enough, when he got to Miami, he invited me to an event where Cardi B was performing and a bunch of people. And it turns out that there was a huge storm that came and it rained and it canceled the event. So in my head, I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm not going to get to see him, you know? And he sent me a message and he's like, where you at? I'm going to pull up. And sure enough, I ended up contacting a buddy of mine that had a studio. I'm like, hey, can we pull up to the studio? And he's like, pull up. And when we show up, he heard the song. And before he showed up, I had already gotten a girl to sing on the song, the chorus of the song. Her name is Roxana Iglesias, which, by the way, today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Roxana. And nothing, when he heard the record, he fell in love with the song and he was super excited. Chris Gotti was in the car in the parking lot outside. I guess they were gauging to see how good or bad I was going to be at the time. So when he heard that the song was good, he walked out to the car and told Chris, he's like, yo, come in here. You got to listen to this. And when he walked in, Chris heard it and Chris was like, man, this is really good. And Dinero literally wrote his verse in like, I would say 15 minutes. And he laid it down, and the rest is history. After that, he ended up going back to New Jersey. We ended up planning the video, and it goes to show how far stretching your arm out or your hand out, sending a message, shooting that shot from half court that maybe you think isn't going to go in. It's happened alongside with him. I've also had the privilege of working with Domingo, who's also on the record Palante, and Domingo is also somebody that when I dropped the record with Dinero, he had seen, I guess, the video that I would put out, and we communicated through Instagram as well, and the same recipe. I wanted to get prepared, so I went back to the studio and I made a couple records for Domingo. And then Domingo was at a studio, I think it was Memphis Bleek's studio. I don't know if you know who Memphis Bleek is, but he invited me to go over there. When I went over there, I showed up and we caught a vibe, man. I played the songs that I had made and he heard them, he loved them. He ended up jumping on both the songs, thank God. And still to this day, aside from them just jumping on the record, which obviously is a plus for me in my career, I was able to build a relationship with Don Dinero and with Domingo, and they both have done things for me that they're not supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to do anything of what they've done. They've accomplished and reached goals that I'm still trying to attain. Domingo's won Grammys before, you know. Don Dinero has had his name all over the multiple radio stations, CDs selling everywhere, performing on Despierta America, performing at the Latin Grammys, doing so many different things that, you know, that are things that I'm still chasing, you know. And the fact that I have people like them, people like Edika, that have guided me through what we call the music industry, because a lot of people call it the music game or the music world, but it's the music industry. And that's why a lot of people, they feel down or sad because they feel like maybe they don't get the love or the support. Like we were talking before, nobody gives a fuck, bro. You have to make them give a fuck. So that's the goal, you know. The goal is to create a product and create a demand for that product and make sure that what we're doing, that we're pouring our heart into it and that we're putting what we actually feel, not just making music to make music or doing a podcast to do a podcast, or, you know, doing something with weight on it, doing something that has substance, doing something that people can watch this and relate and be like, man, I remember, or I'm currently going through a time where I feel like nobody believes in what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a day where people believe in what I'm doing. You have to make them believe in what you're doing. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, then no one's going to believe in what you're doing.
110%.
So I feel in a good creative space, and aside from being in a good creative space, I feel like I'm about to reach some of the best moments of my life, and I think that
I'm there with you.
that is a beautiful thing.
I'm gonna add something to what you just said. You have to ask the question because that's the only way whether you're gonna get the opportunity or not, whether the person says yes or no. However, you have to be prepared.
That's what I said.
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
which
If
is
not,
wh-
you're prepared to fail.
right. Which is what some people lack because they ask the question and then they get shut down and then oh my god that hurts. No, bro, it's not that it hurts. Yes, ask the question, but also have something worth looking at. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
you have to be ready for that situation. It's not just
110%.
making the song prepared to meet them. Like, I had to put in work for him to even look at what I had going on and be like, okay, this is worth my time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
you don't just today, that's what I said, just jump on a YouTube beat and say you're a rapper or say that you're an artist or that you make music or because you made a beat on FL, you're a producer now.
Yep.
That doesn't work like that. If you know what I'm saying? It doesn't, unfortunately.
That's a big thing, man.
And like I said, I have the support and the guidance of people that have navigated through this water before. Edika, for example, Edika, somebody that he's put on so many people over the course of his career. He's done so many beautiful things for so many people over the course of his career. He has how about this? He's accomplished things, bro, that I feel is the true goal of what we aspire to be as an artist. When you sing a song, don't you want to stand on stage and see everybody singing the song?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've gone to his shows and I've performed with him where we're standing on that stage, and when he grabs that microphone and starts singing the chorus of the song, when you see that they can stop the music, brother, and all these people are singing that shit with him, it's impactful, bro. It's what we all chase. It's what we all want. And the fact that I get to see this and learn this, it's almost like when labels used to do artist development, and they used to pour massive amounts of money into these artists so that they can learn and adjust to the industry. I have something to my benefit that I have people that have done this for 20 years and they've been doing it at a professional level for 20 years. And these are the people that are telling me, hey, I think you shouldn't do this. And hey, I think you should do this. You know, so I've been blessed that in these past couple years, I've learned a lot about the game, about the industry, about the business, about myself, that I've been able to evolve, not just as an artist, like I said, but as a person, and be able to become the best version of myself. And I'm still improving. I have so much to learn and so much to still take in. But we here.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And whenever someone calls me lucky, that's exactly what pops into my head. Man, you're so lucky. You're such a good speaker. Man, you're lucky, bro. You're an author. Oh, man, bro, you're lucky. You're so good at selling. And I'm like, yeah, I'm lucky. It's because I've prepared my whole life and I've been growing and molding myself into this human being. And when the opportunity showed up, I was ready. And it was the same thing in your case. You didn't let yourself pass up those opportunities and let those opportunities show up without being ready.